Welcome. Well, the meeting has taken place. This is Jose Angel Sanchez leaving, although this man has lost a lot of weight, hasn't he? Lately. He didn't look like himself, but yes, I think it's him. Well, the thing is that it wasn't Florentino, it was Jose Angel Sanchez, the CEO of Real Madrid, in that meeting with Vinicius' agent. It's unknown if Vinicius was also in the meeting. As far as I know, only Federico Pena was there. Penita Pena, the gentleman who was the other day with the president of Rock Nation, the one who said, hey, Michael Jordan with the Bulls back in the day, put them on the map. He wasn't talking specifically about Vinicius. It was the other one, Federico Pena, saying, hey, look at Jay-Z. Who's the other one from, well, the agency? I don't know what his exact position is, but he's the owner of the agency, right? Jay-Z and JC. And the other one, I don't remember the last name of the gentleman who was talking about Michael Jordan. Well, he's the CEO or the president, whatever. The thing is, this Federico Pena, the Brazilian, Vinicius' agent, the one who negotiates with Real Madrid, was saying, look at JC, where he started and what he is now, an icon, a symbol, and so on. That's what we want to do with Vinicius. Their intentions have been clear for some time since they refused to back down from that position. And Madrid, this man, today, Jose Angel Sanchez, has said that Madrid won't back down from their position either. That's our understanding, as it's been Real Madrid's position for a long time. And above all, because we know that Madrid is not going to give a signing bonus and is not going to give in. Well, maybe yes, more than 50%, but definitely not 100% of the image rights. Vinicius has contracts with 1 million brands. It's absolutely crazy. And these are two things that more than Vinicius himself, Rock Nation, the ones who have been filling his head with pipe dreams for a long time, are pushing for. They're standing firm on that. They want to get that for Vinny because they're probably telling him, look at the other guy who hasn't done anything for Real Madrid and is above you. Regarding leadership in the locker room, also because he's the one who earns the most and there's a hierarchy there, and we're going to break that. We're going to shatter that. But the only way is by getting a better contract than him, and Madrid isn't going to give it to him. That's why I made the video the other day saying I already see him more out than in. Unless in this meeting they reached a clear agreement and both sides, Vinicius' side lowered their demands and Real Madrid's side was also flexible and met Vinicius halfway. In other words, that both sides come closer together. I think this is very difficult. But anyway, we're talking about something we still don't know. We don't know how that meeting went. Jose Angel Sanchez was coming in and out. And here Vinicius was coming in with the person they said was Federico Pena. But no, this is before Real Madrid's training session. Today at 10 in the morning, they said this was Federico Pena. No, this is Suarez, the one who handles everything for Vinny. Everything except the negotiations with Real Madrid. Later, Federico Pena would arrive in his car or in a taxi, whatever, to talk with Jose Angel Sanchez. Honestly, I would like it to be a meeting between Vinicius and Florentino because, well, when Florentino rolls up his sleeves, he handles it himself, right? But neither of them has to be involved in that. That's what they have representatives for. Or Florentino delegates to Jose Angel to a certain extent, but it would be good to have a conversation looking each other in the eye and so on, so that something as important as this can be resolved. Yes, because I insist, as Ramon was saying earlier, that much as it pains him, because now all the Madrid fans, of course, well, maybe not to so many lately, but to many, yes, selling Vinicius would hurt them, but is there really no other way out? It can't be that Vinicius just stays. Well, he hasn't renewed. Come on, it's fine. Let's see what happens in January, right? Because what happens in January is a total free-for-all that Madrid is not going to get into. I mean, Madrid is not going to say, hey, here, Paris Saint-Germain is going to offer him a signing bonus, and then another one, and another one, and another one. And us, in that bidding war for a footballer who has been ours, come on, who we've raised here since he was 18 years old, right? Therefore, if a solution isn't reached now, well, he won't leave. No, he won't leave because there's very little time left before this transfer window closes. Well, there's nothing more to say. Now the insiders will start coming out to tell their little stories. We'll trust it when many people say something that everyone agrees on, and then we'll keep giving our opinions on the matter. There's one thing that's clear, and that's that Leipzig, and changing the subject now, Diomande has been playing his game. Look, here is Diomande today, arriving at Leipzig's training camp in Austria. They said he wasn't going to go and all that. Well, there you have him, and that he wasn't going, not to avoid putting the player on the spot. Hey, he can keep training, it's no problem. The point is to play matches. He has to train anyway. It was even said he's sick. The Michelis, the new coach of Leipzig, said it's just that he's sick. And someone said they're lying. No, no, no. Apparently he really was sick because today he joined that training camp. They're treating it as normal. There was even a welcome message from Leipzig on social media for Diomande and so on. Well, they're playing their game because they've been very inflexible with the sale price. And yes, it's crazy. In Madrid, it's already like that. The club got fixated on him because Mourinho wants him, because they believe this guy is the next big thing in football and so on. And they had to pay for him. Madrid didn't want to pay more than 100. But hey, we're going to settle at an approximate price of between 130 and 140 million, including the fixed fee and add-ons. Florian Plettenberg, who's been reporting this story better than anyone, said a little while ago, this is just from a few minutes ago, that Leipzig and Real Madrid are now in the final stages to complete the transfer of Diomande. Yesterday, regarding the information from this gentleman as well, a German journalist from Sky, who I insist is reporting very well, he said it would be within 24 hours, right? It was reactivated yesterday and should be finalized today. The total package, including bonuses, is expected to be between 130 and 140 million euros. The final structure is currently being discussed. The medical exam still isn't confirmed, but is expected this week. Since it's already Wednesday, it should be today or tomorrow. It was even said yesterday that Mourinho hoped to have him under his command as soon as tomorrow, Thursday. That feels rushed. He's just arriving in Austria. In football, you might leave as soon as you arrive. He could take off right away. But it's difficult for it to happen by the end of the week. Hopefully, look, I'd be happy just to see him on Friday already wearing the Real Madrid training shirt and under Mourinho's command. Quick side note, if this happens, and I think it will, at this price, leave a comment with your thoughts on the price. Now, I'll give my opinion about the presentations that haven't been done yet. At Real Madrid, well, I would do a joint one. I mean, Mourinho with all of them. Something like that, with lots of fanfare, since there won't be enough time to present each one individually, right? Otherwise, you'd have to start making appointments already. I mean, like organizing a sort of week of celebrations, right? Monday Gonate, Tuesday Danfries, Wednesday, I mean, something like that. Or you introduce them all at the same time. What do I think about the 130, 140 million? That it's outrageous, and the market has gotten us to this point that this guy, no matter how good he is, and he definitely is, he's not worth that. And well, they've gone overboard because they know it's Real Madrid, because they know Real Madrid have needs in two areas. A real need that's been there for a few seasons now on the right wing, clearly. Madrid doesn't have a right wing, hasn't had a right winger for a long time. Madrid needs someone there. And then there's another one, which isn't so clear, but Madrid also wants to cover themselves for it, and Leipzig knows it. And that's, what if they lose Vinicius? What do they do? Of course. So the German team, the German club has said, we're going to sell this guy to these guys for the highest price, even going beyond what would be normal in this inflationary market. And it's crazy, which is 130, 140 million. Let's take a look. How are those add-ons structured? They never tell us, but we understand that the other day I heard that Leipzig apparently wants the variables to include the team if Madrid wins La Liga, the Champions League, or scores over a set number of goals. And that Real Madrid wanted them to be more related to the player. If this player reaches a certain number of goals in the season, if he wins, well, if he wins titles, he gets them, and so does Real Madrid, right? But indeed, things like goals, minutes played, and so on, Ballon d'Or awards, these kinds of things, right, etc., etc., Ballon d'Or awards, these kinds of things, right? Well, we'll see. But the thing is, all the insiders here and there agree that the price has been going up and it's going to reach 130, 140. That's steep. Let me know in the comments what you think. Plus, well, he's already with Fiorentina on loan. He'll be back in June of 27. We have to see how this guy arrived in June. Well, July already, almost August, right? Of 25. And how? And how is he leaving? Well, how is he leaving? For now, on loan, they're saying it already looks like Reinier and all that. I hope not. I trust this kid. There's one thing I think he really needs to improve. It's the mental aspect, right? To mature, there are footballers who are already super mature at 18. We're looking at a kid who, before turning 18, before even turning 17, had already scored a goal against France. At 17, he wins the European Championship after already winning the World Cup. He hasn't won the Champions League yet, but performed well in a Champions League semi-final. That's what we have to compete against, but without getting obsessed about it. I mean, no, you can't have one, because at some point last year they were compared, like the new Lamin. I told you not to do that to the kid because it would mess him up, and that's what happened. Not for that reason, though. Why? It's been and still is hard for him. I think he's got quality. We've seen it. Damn, we saw it at River, the goals he scored, the plays he made. But of course, in Madrid, he started off more or less well, and then he started to drop off. And it's also a matter of confidence. He needs to strengthen that confidence a bit by getting minutes, of course, and above all, by improving his first touch and control. And from there, I hope, fingers crossed, I don't think that's going to happen. And that could happen with Reinier too. But of course, what hurts is the 60-something million that Madrid paid for this kid. And on the other side, even though this is happening here in Madrid yesterday, Deco arrived at Madrid Barajas Airport to meet with Julián Álvarez's agent. In fact, Deco and the agent were having dinner at Plaza de la Independencia in a place that wasn't very discreet. And Julián Álvarez's agent, well, not really to negotiate terms. They are very clear about it. They probably even already have a salary, etc. Is it to design the strategy for Julián Álvarez's signing by FC Barcelona? And of course, this depends on Atletico de Madrid accepting the 100 million from Barca, which I think Barca just can't do. Let's see, Barca couldn't even pay 100 million. Imagine even more, it's impossible. But if the player puts pressure, I think he's going to keep playing for Atletico de Madrid, even though he's upset. You have to see what a stunt from the player coming out in the middle of the World Cup in the mixed zone after an Argentina match to say, no, I have to leave. I mean, man, you still have a valid contract, right? I mean, no, you can't do this. And especially given that Madrid made a fake offer, because nobody believed that when they said, no, Florentino's master move, and maybe it was to raise Barca's price and all that. And Atleti laughed at an offer. Well, laughed. Only those who can afford to laugh do, right? Anyway, Atleti tried to laugh, but they can't. When they're up against Real Madrid, they just can't. Did Madrid know that they weren't really doing it, that they weren't doing it on purpose? Because I think Julián Álvarez was never really in Real Madrid's plans at any point. But at least they set a price that really limited Barcelona, 150 million. No, not for that or anything would we sell him. Can you imagine Atletico selling him to Barca for 100? The answer is not for that or for anything in the world would we sell this guy. Can you imagine selling him to Barca for 100? The answer is yes. I can't imagine it. They said Madrid's master move bows to Florentino. They've already done many deals together, especially Álvarez, but the best part could be Ferran Torres joining, though that's less likely. One who is further along with Paris Saint-Germain has been talking about it these days on Ya Limitaba. They're in the United States. Well, let's see who wants him more and so on. It could be. But we can also imagine Barca with La Liga's permission. Incomprehensible, like everything they've been doing in recent years, allowing Barca to pay 100 million for Julián Álvarez. Unbelievable. But hey, between these two clubs, anything can happen. Everything, absolutely everything is imaginable. Everything, especially because of the thank you. Well, that's it. Given how they act toward Barcelona and Real Madrid, of course, they would make a complete fool of themselves. They say no to Real Madrid. Also, they sell Julián Álvarez to Barca for 100, and then with everything they allow them to do to another club that has a huge debt, absolutely huge. And in recent years, well, they've been spending beyond their means in the transfer market because La Liga has allowed it. And that's where we are. Let's see what happens. Hope all goes well for you. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment, and share. Hype it up and see you next time. Bye.